I love that. Okay. All right. So it is 10 a.m. We're going to go ahead and get started. So hello, family. How are you? I have a cough drop in my mouth. Okay. I am so thankful that all of you are here with me today. Just to see another day and to breathe another breath. I'm very thankful for all of you and for everyone coming in and joining this group. It really means a lot to me. You guys have really blessed my heart by just acknowledging that you want the class. Okay. So I hope that all of you are finding yourself at peace and in a balanced state of mind. Okay. Just some information that I want to give you before we get started. I do have notes. I have a poor memory. There's a lot of stuff that I want to share with you all. So for this entire course, I will be going off of my notes, okay? So from time to time, you'll see me look down. I'm either looking at some notes, I'm looking at my computer screen to make sure that I don't miss anything, okay? So today is Sunday, January 6, 2019. Happy New Year. I am Danae Nicole, and I wanted to welcome and thank you all for joining me. This course is called Empaths Mechanics, and the goal that I have for providing this course is just to help you all to find a deeper knowledge of yourself, okay? So within yourself, it's your physical self, your energetic self, your emotional self, and your physical self. Okay, so those are my goals. Do any of you have any goals for this course? I wonder if there's a delay. Is there a delay? Or are you guys just being quiet? I think there's a delay. That's fine. I'll keep moving right along. Okay. So this is the first time that I've ever taught this course on this type of media, meaning as a live stream. So if for any reason this particular live stream disconnects, don't worry. It will be posted to the group. So you'll be able to see it or stop it, whatever. Stop watching the video when you need to come back to it, whatever the case may be. Okay? Okay. I see that, Miss Serenity, you said that you wanted to connect with kindred spirits and those who understand. Absolutely. Absolutely. This group is definitely a safe place. I don't really have a high threshold for negativity and ignorance and foolishness. So if I see that, or if any of you recognize that from anyone who joins the group, then please let me know. I'll call them out on it. You also can take the initiative and call them out on it. Like I can't deal with that. Not in a space where I really am truly trying to help, you know? Okay. So, also, I just wanted to remind you guys that on Thursday of this week, we will be doing a book club starting with reading Self-Care for the Self-Aware. All right. There is a link to the of this book on the announcement that I posted on our group page. Okay. So you can click the link, you can buy the book, or I'll be reading it aloud so you can follow along with me, but I do really recommend that you buy this book. This was the first book that I read when I first came to the understanding and realization that I am an empath, and it really helped me with understanding not only how I can heal myself, but how I can balance the energies, okay? My energy, your energy, his energy, her energy, everybody's energy, so that it wouldn't affect me in such a drastic and draining way, okay? Okay. Let me see what else I need to say. Okay, so like I said, this video for this course will be posted on our group page. I'm also going to post it on my YouTube channel. There'll be more videos on my YouTube channel that don't necessarily pertain to being an empath, but you might find it enjoyable. It'll be things such as like law of attraction, setting goals, manifesting, chakra alignment, and grounding yourself. Okay, so the channel is called Danae Nicole, the Intuitive Life Coach. I think I already have a link for it somewhere on our page, but after this video is done, I'll post it to the page again for those of you who might be interested in subscribing and watching the videos. Okay, so then lastly, before we begin, today we will be reviewing Module 1, which is going to include the physiology of the empath, the reason you are an empath, and the 5 types of empaths, well, the most common empaths. So please, please, please feel free to ask questions at any time. However, I will be waiting to the end of each section. There's 3 sections. I'll be waiting till the end of each section to answer your question. And if you're not watching this video live, you can leave the questions in the comment section and I will respond as soon as I can. Okay? I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So again, I'll be answering any questions for each section. Once I'm done with the section, I'll let you guys just type them. As the questions come into your head, go ahead and type them. I'll go back through the comment section and I will answer them. All right, so I have everything in place here. I have my selenite. I have my moonstone. Moonstone is to protect the healer. Okay. I have my pyrite for abundance. I'm hoping that we all will be abundantly filled with knowledge today. And then I have my selenite wand, which I absolutely love. Selenite brings a clear understanding or intuition. Okay, so let's begin. I hope everyone has a pen and some paper, some water, a snack. I have my snack here, just some little oranges. Sometimes when I get excited, you know, I use a lot of my energy, so I kind of have to rebuild that, so I get a little sugar in me. So I do that with the oranges. I also have my water, so I think I am set. You guys ready? All right, great. Okay, so the science behind empathy and empaths, or the physiology of it. Okay, so basically, physiology is the study of functions and the mechanisms of which work within a living system. Okay, so for us, it's our brain, our organs, our central nervous system, blood, oxygen, how all of that encompasses into our body and how it makes us function. Okay. Physiology also focuses on like how biomolecules carry out the chemical and physical functions that exist within the living system. So particularly us, how we breathe in oxygen, it goes into our blood, it supplies it to our organs, kind of like that. Okay. So the first part of the physiology of an empath is the mirror neuron system. Okay, so what that is that in our brain there are brain cells that are responsible for compassion. All right, these brain cells are located in the premotor cortex, which is the top of the head here, the superior temporal sulcus. Okay, so that's by the ears over here. All right, and the inferior parietal lobe, so that's back here. Okay, now keep in mind just a little science fact. I'm kind of a science geek, so I'm trying to explain things very clearly. okay? So your premotor cortex is at the top of the head, okay? Your superior temporal is here. This is where like your hearing and all that is. And your inferior parietal lobe is here. That's really where the optical nerve of your eyes is connected. Okay, so the mirror neuron system is located in the areas of where your senses are, for lack of better words. Okay, so researchers have discovered a specialized group of brain cells called the mirror neuron system that are responsible for compassion. Okay. These cells enable everyone to mirror emotions. That's why empaths are able to sense people's emotions a little bit stronger, because our neural system is just a little bit more sensitive. A lot more sensitive for some people. But with these emotions, we're able to share pain, fear, and joy. Our neural system is hyper responsive. Okay, so that means that anything will trigger, any emotion, any feeling will trigger that neuron system to activate, and we will feel it. Okay, so for example, if you're near someone and they get hurt, you can feel their pain. Okay, this is similar to like you know, when you're driving and you hear someone screech on their brakes and you hear a loud crash and you're like, you cringe up, not only because you're like, oh my God, am I going to get hit in my car as well? But because you can feel that impact on the person's body, and it can, you know, be detrimental. Okay. So another example is even, you know, when your child is crying and you feel your child's pain, or you feel sad too, or you begin to cry and you're not even sad, but you are aware of how they are feeling. Okay. Again, this also is if your friend or someone you're around is happy. If you have an emotional connection with that person, it does make things a lot easier. However, you'll feel all of that because of the mirror neuron system. All right. And again, that's located in your motor cortex, your superior temporal sulcus, and the inferior parietal lobule. Okay. But in contrast, with psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists, they have what is considered to be empathy deficient disorders. Okay. So this is why they essentially like just don't care. They do not care if they hurt you. Okay. They do not care if you're hurt. They do not care if what they do offends you. Like, they don't care. All right. So basically what this means is that they lack the ability to feel empathy like other people do, which may be caused by an underactive mirror neuron system. Okay. So just be aware that people, sociopaths, psychopaths, and narcissists are incapable of unconditional love. Okay, just off the top. I'm not saying that if they don't go to like counseling or cognitive behavioral counseling or something like that, that things couldn't change for them. But just off top, no counseling. This is who they are. They will not change unless they want to. Okay. The second reason, or excuse me, the second physiological reason why you're an empath is due to the electromagnetic fields. Okay. There's a finding based on the fact that both the brain and the heart generate electromagnetic fields. According to the Heart Math Institute, these fields transmit information about people's thoughts and emotions. Empaths may be particularly sensitive to this and may tend to become overwhelmed by it. Okay, so electromagnetic fields, that includes energy from the sun. Like if there's a sunburst, that's considered an electromagnetic field. It can have a lot of different reactions or excuse me, it can cause a lot of different reactions here on the earth, okay? Electromagnetic fields, I don't know how many of you may be sensitive to electricity or even the sound of electricity, but that is also causing electromagnetic field, it is also causing an electromagnetic field, okay? Similarly, we are often have stronger and physical emotions, emotional responses and changes to electromagnetic fields of the earth and the sun, as well as even the moon, okay? Empaths know well that what happens to the earth and sun affects our state of mind and energy. So this is very true, okay? Another factor is emotional contagion, okay? I like to just say it's basically similar to birds of a feather flock together, right? Where one person's emotions and behaviors will trigger similar emotions and behaviors of another person. A good example of this is yawning. Have you ever had someone yawn and then you yawn but you're not tired? That's an emotional contagion, okay? So, emotional contagion enhances our understanding of empaths. The phenomena occurs quite regularly, even to people who may not necessarily be empaths, okay? So, for instance, a crying infant can set off a wave of crying in a hospital ward. Okay, that's an example. Or one person loudly expresses anxiety in the workplace and can spread it to other workers. Okay, people commonly catch other people's feelings in groups. There was an article in the New York Times that stated that this ability to synchronize moods with others is crucial, okay, for good relationships. What is the lesson here for empaths? Is to choose positive people in our lives so we're not brought down by negativity. It's very, very important who you choose to allow to be in your life. And I know that sometimes you may not have, you may not get to choose who is in your life. However, when you do, make sure that person is giving off the same energy that you're giving off. Okay, does that make sense? Attract or like attracts like. Okay. I lost my plane of thought. Okay, so if a friend is going through a hard time, take special precautions to ground and center yourself. These are important strategies that you should learn. Okay, I'll be really speaking about grounding yourself and centering yourself and aligning your chakras next Sunday during for our lesson one for module 2. Okay, getting a dry mouth. Okay. Another physiological reason is increased dopamine sensitivity. And so what is dopamine? All right. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. Transmitter. It's a chemical that is responsible for transmitting signals between nerve cells of the brain. When dopamine is activated, like when something good happens, such as you get food unexpectedly and you're like, yes, I'm hungry. So that will release dopamine, okay? However, there are drugs that can be abused that also cause the release of dopamine. And it does this because its chemical structures mimics the chemical structures of dopamine. So, for example, you take drugs, I don't know, drugs, it doesn't matter. By the way, I am not saying to do drugs to feel happy and any of that. I do not condone it. I'm not here for it. Anyone who does have the disease of addiction, I truly hope that you at some point decide to get help and you seek treatment to get past that disease. I have family members who are addicted to drugs, and I unfortunately had to stop talking to them because it was draining me. It was literally killing me inside. I don't know if it was just because of how I felt for them, or if it was because I was feeling that their body was dying. Okay. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So basically you take the drugs. The drugs release a toxin that mimics a dopamine. Your brain thinks, oh, we're happy. Let's add some more dopamine to that. So more dopamine is released. You start feeling really, really good. So now your brain is connecting drugs to feeling happy, and you become addicted. That is just very, like, the basic explanation of it. Okay. So, like I was saying, dopamine is a neurotransmitter, that it increases the activities of the neurons and is associated with the pleasure response, which is sometimes referred to as anti-stress molecule or the pleasure molecule. Okay. There is research that has shown that introverted empaths, such as myself, tend to have a higher sensitivity to dopamine. A higher sensitivity to the dopamine than extroverts. Okay, so basically, introverted people, empaths, need less dopamine to feel happy. Okay, so this would really explain why introverted empaths can be alone for hours at a time in their room, and not feel sad. I know for myself, I sometimes when I'm introverting, that's what I like to call it. I'm introverting right now. I need my space. I am in my room. I'm closing the door. I close the door, lay on the bed, get a book, journal. Maybe just lose myself in a TV show, things like that. Okay. I need less external stimulation. Okay. So I don't really party. We're extroverts, extroverted empaths. You all can go to parties and be in large social gatherings because you need that extra or higher level of dopamine for you to essentially function. Not that you wouldn't be able to function, but it is what you need, right? It's your physiology. It's what your body needs to process things, process your thoughts, process your everyday life. You enjoy being social, okay? It's basically like a craving, or it's like you get a rush from it. Again, that kind of brings it back to things that are addictive in nature. Okay, I think this would be a really good video just on how. Sorry, let me write that down. Okay, about empaths and addiction. I think that's something that I would like to do. Okay. Addiction. All right. Sorry, squirrel. All right. Okay. Lastly, number 5, in regards to the physiology of the empath, is called synesthesia. All right. Synesthesia. That is spelled SYNESTHEA. Synesthesia. Okay. So synesthesia is a state of called mirror touch synesthesia. Synesthesia is a neurological condition in which two different senses are paired to the brain. Okay. For instance, you see colors when you hear music, or you can taste your words. Okay. There are some famous synesthetics. I think I snorted a little bit. Did you guys hear that? Okay, sorry. Which include people such as Isaac Newton, Billy Joel, and then I saw that there was a violinist named Ishak Perlman. I've never heard of him, but I just Google searched synesthesia, okay? However, with mirror touch synesthesia, people can actually feel the emotions and sensations of others in their own bodies as these were their own. This is a wonderful neurological explanation of an empath's experience. This actually also explains people who are physical empaths or medical empaths, where you may have a connection with someone who broke their leg and your leg starts hurting. Okay, I would also like to suggest that anyone who does have who is a physical or medical empath, that you all learn how to do Reiki healing. Okay, like say if you're trying to monetize your gift, all right, that would be something that you could do because it's basically energy healing. You would know exactly where to go in the person's body to heal them, okay? But also keep in mind that with energy healing, you're taking away that energy, so it's going to have to go somewhere, and most likely it's going to go into you, so you'll have to know how to heal yourself. Like, so the Reiki healer is going to need a Reiki healer if you're not able to do it on your own. All right? Okay. So according to the Dalai Lama, empathy is the most precious human quality. And during stressful times, it is easy to get overwhelmed. Even so, empathy is the quality that will get us through. It will enable us to respect one another, even if we disagree. Okay? Empathy doesn't make you a sentimental softie without discernment. Okay? It allows you to keep your heart open and to foster tolerance and understanding. Okay? All right, so that was the first part of Module 1, Physiology of an Empath. Does anyone have questions? I know that with the live feed, there's kind of like a delay. So if there's anyone here who wants to ask a question, please go for it. If not, I'm going to move forward. I'll wait a little bit, okay? Well, thank you for the love, everybody. I appreciate that. I see the hearts coming up on the screen. That makes me happy. Okay, I don't think anyone has any questions. All right, so part 2, why are you an empath? All right, the information that I got to kind of figure this all out was from Judith Orloff. She is a psychologist as well as an empath. She's pretty big in this particular field. My chair is like slipping. Okay. Oh. Is it possible to link the New York Times article? Yes, I will do that at the very end. Okay. I'll put it in the comments section once the video has uploaded to the group. Fair? Okay. All right. Sorry, my arm started to itch. Okay. Where was I at? Okay, so this information in regards to why we are empaths is from Judith Orloff. She has a book called The Empath Survival Guide. I'm actually planning on doing a book, what is it called? A book club reading once we're done with self-care for the self-aware. All right, so probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, we can start reading that together if you'd like, okay? So, why do people become empaths? All right, is it temperament, genetics, trauma, neglectful, or supportive parental upbringing. Overall, from the very beginning, once you pop out, okay, everyone is born an empath, okay? Empathy is innate, okay? It's inherent within our DNA, and it is naturally of us as we are born with empathy, okay? So according to Judith Orloff, there are 4 factors that contribute to heightening sensitivities, all right? Reason number 1 is temperament, okay? Some babies are born with more sensitivity than others. So it's an inborn temperament, okay? You can see it when they come out of the womb. They're very responsive to light, smells, touch, movement, temperature, and sound, okay? So infants are essentially empaths from the very, very beginning, okay? Reason number 2, genetics. There are some forms of sensitivity that may be genetically transmitted, okay? Highly sensitive children can come from mothers and fathers with the same inborn traits, okay? So for example, like my son, he is highly sensitive, okay? And this is just something just a little private. Like there'd be times he was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and when he was 5, we moved back out here to California, where I'm from. Okay, he started a new school, and all of his preschools or daycares had been very small. You know, like maybe like 12 people at the most. So when you come to an area like California and there's like 32 kids in the class, you know, he would get overwhelmed, and I had to. I wrote a letter to the teacher, like at the beginning of the year, just to let her know that he's a sensitive kid. Sometimes he's going to want to take a break, all right? It's just a timeout. He's not in trouble or anything like that, but he will do it on his own if he is overwhelmed. So, anywho, fast forward, he's in kindergarten, and he would take breaks at like the after school program. And do you know that these people, instead of just asking me, hey, how, you know, we find that he's like, you know, distant or quiet at times, you know, and again, it's partially my fault because I didn't notify them directly, you know, I just put it in the packet. I'm presuming that they would read the informational packet that they want you to fill out. You know what I mean? But they didn't. So anyways, they ended up thinking that he was being abused, and they called CPS, and it was like a whole thing. Thank God the worker was like, these accusations are unfounded. Like, your child just is taking a break. Like, the school even had to tell these people, like, no, there's nothing going on. Like, he's a quite brilliant child, you know what I mean? So I was thankful for that. So anyways, children can be highly sensitive. It can be inborn traits. Therefore, it is possible that sensitivity can also be genetically transmitted through families. Okay? And sometimes, if your children are empaths as well, and you start noticing things early on, at that moment is when you need to start teaching them how to balance and ground themselves. Like, don't wait for them to go through life and have them figure it out on their own. If you see that they may need a little bit of help in certain areas, go ahead and just start teaching them. Like, that's your role, right? To teach your kids beyond school. I'm not saying that that you all aren't doing that. I'm just saying in general. Okay. So reason number 3 is trauma. Childhood neglect or abuse can affect your sensitivity levels as an adult. A portion of empaths have experienced early trauma, such as emotional or physical abuse, or they were raised by an alcoholic, depressed, or narcissistic parent. This could potentially wear down the usual healthy defenses that a child with nurturing parents would develop. Okay? As a result of their upbringing, they typically don't feel seen by their families. All right? They may feel invisible in the greater world that doesn't have value or sensitivity. Okay? Trauma. Trauma is also a reason why people become narcissists. Just an FYI, just so that you know, everyone is different. Everyone responds to things differently. So keep that in mind, all right? Reason number 4, supportive parenting. On the other hand, positive parenting can help sensitive children develop and honor their gifts. Parents are powerful role models for all children, especially sensitive ones. Okay, no matter what the reason, empaths haven't learned to defend against stress in the same way as others do. Okay, we're different. Okay, a noxious stimulus such as an angry person, crowd's noise, or bright light can agitate us since our threshold for sensory overload is extremely low. For example, when it's very, very loud, I kind of get like angry or sometimes sick. Like my ears will start ringing and I have to leave the area. Okay? Or I'll become overwhelmed and anxious, kind of like I'm trapped and I don't know how to get out. All right? Healing is possible for all sensitive people, even if you've experienced early trauma or have been raised by abusive parents. It's important that you learn to feel safe enough to embrace your sensitivities now. Part of this involves learning to set healthy boundaries with others and choosing positive people in your circle who can be supportive of you, supportive of your sensitivities. In addition, protection and centering techniques and meditations can help you strengthen your core so you can both be strong and sensitive. And again, next Sunday I will be speaking about that, grounding yourself and essentially just strengthening your center. Okay? Does anyone have any questions about the why people become or are empaths? Okay. Reason 1 was temperament. Reason 2 was genetics. Reason 3 was trauma. Reason 4 was supportive parenting. Okay. Just going to take a break. Wait for any questions, if any. Okay, moving forward. The 5 most common types of empaths. Okay. So understanding which of the 5 types of empaths that you are can help you make the most of your gift while still taking care of yourself. Okay. I always say that empathy is a gift, and being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel things as if you were them. However, there are different types of empaths, and each has different empathic abilities. Okay. So the first empath type is the emotional or intuitive empath. The emotional empath is one of the most common types of empaths. I have that gift. Or if you are this type, you will easily pick up on emotions of others, okay, around you, and feel the effects of those emotions as if they were yours. Okay, the emotional empath will deeply experience feelings of others in their own emotional body. Okay, for example, an emotional empath can become extremely and deeply sad around an individual who is experiencing sadness, and there will be absolutely no reason for you to be sad, but all of a sudden you'll just be like ridiculously sad. So for emotional empaths, it is important to learn to differentiate between your own emotions and those of others. In this way, you can use your ability to help others without becoming drained. I know I did a video last week about basically whose energy is it, how to stop absorbing, and how to protect your energy. So if you have questions about how to stop being drained, you can go back to that video. Okay. The second type of empath is the physical or medical empath. Those with this type of empathy can pick up on the energy of other people's bodies, all right? They intuitively know what is ailing a person. Many people with this type of empathy become healers, either in the conventional medical professions or in alternative ones. Like how I had mentioned that people who have this gift, like, you are awesome. And if you want to monetize off of it, you should consider doing Reiki healing if you are not already like a medical doctor, okay? Physical empaths may feel an awareness in their physical body with treating someone. They may also be able to see blockages in a person's energy field that that they may be able to treat. Okay, if you are a medical empath, you may pick up on symptoms from others and feel them in your own body. Taking on the physical symptoms of others may lead to health problems. Some people with chronic illnesses, such as fibromyalgia or autoimmune diseases, might find it helps to strengthen their own energetic field, so that they can turn the stability off when necessary. So basically, you'll need to learn how to block the energy from being absorbed into your body. Okay. Again, that's something that I will discuss next Sunday when we're talking about the chakras and the auras. Okay. Taking some training in the form of healing can also help to hone this ability. All right. So empath number 3 is the geomantic empath. So that's when you have empathy for a place or an environment. All right. If you find yourself uncomfortable or really happy in certain environments or situations for no apparent reason, you might be a geomantic empath. Okay. Another term for geomantic empath is basically an earth empath or a nature empath. All right. These are the people who are highly attuned to the natural world. You feel the emotions of living creatures of the earth. So birds, or not necessarily birds. That's more of an animal empath. I'll say trees, plants, the ground, things like that. Things of the earth. So those with this ability have a fine attunement to the physical landscape. If you find yourself with a deep connection to certain places, you may be drawn to sacred stones, groves, churches, or other places of sacred power. You may also be sensitive to the history of a place and be able to pick up on sadness, fear, or joy. All right. Place empaths are highly attuned to the natural world and grieve for any damage to it. They watch with horror when trees are cut down or landscapes are destroyed. Okay, so if you're like, I don't know if any of you remember that movie about like Fern Gully, and and there's this scene and the fairies are like all upset and the trees are like being cut down, and one of the fairies is like trying to stop the construction worker. Okay, and the construction worker is like regular human size. The fairy is like the size of like my fingernail, and she's trying to stop these people, and she's like, "Oh no, you're hurting the trees, you're hurting them, and to her she can hear the trees crying. So that's what they mean by a geomantic empath. Okay. Um, okay. If you are this type of empath, you will probably need to spend time in nature to recharge. Okay. You may also find helping an environmental project very healing for you. It is also important for you to make your everyday surroundings as harmonious and beautiful as you can. Okay. You may feel happier if you're in the house with plants or natural scents. You may also like to choose natural materials such as wood and linen for clothing and furniture. All right. Number 4 is the plant empath. Okay. If you are a plant empath, you intuitively sense what plants need. You will be green fingered and have a true gift. Okay. For placing the right plant in the right place of your garden or home. Many plant empaths choose to work in parks, gardens, or wild landscapes where they can put their gifts to good use. So, if you like to garden, if you just enjoy being in nature, around a lot of plants, a lot of botanical type gardens, then this is you. In fact, if you have chosen an occupation that involves plants, then you are probably a plant empath. Some people with this gift actually receive guidance from the trees or the plants directly by hearing it within their mind. If you are this kind of empath, you will already know that you need a lot of contact with trees and plants. You might like to strengthen this bond by sitting quietly by a special tree or plant and attuning more closely to its needs and guidance. All right, number 5, we're almost done, okay? An animal empath. Many empaths have a strong connection with animals. However, an animal empath will probably devote their lives to working for the care of animal friends. Those with this gift will know what an animal needs and may be able to telepathically communicate with the creature. All right. If you are an animal empath, you probably already spend as much time with animals as you can. You may find that studying the biology or psychology of animals helps you to refine your gift. You could also consider training as an animal healer. As a special talent, can enable you to find out what is wrong with an animal and treat it accordingly. All right. So those are the 5 most common types of empaths. All right. So we have the emotional, intuitive empath, the physical, medical empath, the geomantic or earth empath, the plant empath, and the animal empath. All right. So are there any questions regarding anything that I spoke about today? The type of empaths, the physiology of an empath, why you are an empath. Does anyone have any questions? All right. So since I don't see any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this class. There was something that I wanted to say. I think I already said it. Again, on Thursday, we will be starting the Self-Care for the Self-Aware book club reading. Okay. There you guys can buy. Okay, let me see. Is it possible to feel a connection to more than one element of empathy? Of course, yes. Some abilities are just stronger than others. Okay. but you can be more. You can be all of them. You can be one or two of them. Physical, emotional, nature, and plants all at once. Yes. Yes, you can have that. You can have all of those things. I am an intuitive empath, and I am a geomantic empath. More specifically, if I go to places where it's Native American land, or like in the South, specific like Louisiana, when I go to visit different plantations, even before I get to that plantation, I start feeling the energy. I feel the people, the spirit of the place. Okay. It's kind of like I expect to see something there, or like I feel, or I'm attuned to those type of things. So yes, it is possible to be physical, to be more than just one type of empath. Okay. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I accidentally went to print something, and that is not what I wanted to do. Any other questions? Again, if you're not watching this video live, please feel free to comment or ask questions in the comment section under this video. Okay. I'm going to close out the video now, but if anyone who might have been feeling shy, or if you have more questions, please go ahead and ask those questions, and I'll respond as soon as I can. Okay. All right. Take care, you guys. Have a great day.